any modern enterprise, the integrity of production systems depends on one unshakable principle: control. ISO/IEC 2701 addresses two essential aspects of that control in Annexes A.31 and A.32, the separation of development, testing, and production environments, and the disciplined management of change. Together, they protect the live environment from instability, untested modifications, and human error. When development and production mix, risks multiply. A single careless action can corrupt data, expose sensitive information, or halt business operations. Similarly, when changes are made without authorization or testing, security and reliability vanish. These controls create both technical and procedural boundaries that preserve confidence in every release, update, and operational adjustment. ISO's goal here is simple yet profound: ensure that innovation and improvement never come at the expense of stability and trust. The risks of neglecting environment separation are both technical and regulatory. Developers who test with real customer data risk violating privacy laws and exposing sensitive information if test systems lack production-grade protection. Unstable or unverified code introduced into live systems can cause outages or corrupt data, often at the worst possible moment. Attackers frequently target test environments because they tend to have weaker security controls and may share network access with production, allowing lateral movement once compromised. Even unintentional mistakes, like pushing an experimental patch directly to a live database, can have catastrophic results. ISO mandates this separation precisely because a small breach in discipline can create a large breach in practice. Auditors evaluating compliance with A.8.31 look for hard evidence that separation is real, not just theoretical. Architecture diagrams must clearly show the distinct environments, their connectivity, and the controls governing data movement between them. Access control lists and permissions records demonstrate who can log into which systems and with what privileges. Logs or automation reports should confirm that test environments use masked or synthetic data instead of production copies. Change tickets should illustrate the controlled promotion path, the documented sequence by which code travels from development to testing to production. These artifacts prove that the organization has both designed and enforced the barriers that keep live systems safe. Real-world examples make the importance of A.8.31 tangible. A SaaS provider may use continuous integration and deployment (CI/CD) pipelines that move code through gated stages, automatically testing and verifying security before approval for production release. A major bank might require that customer data used in testing be redacted and tokenized to eliminate any chance of exposure. In healthcare, isolated laboratory environments ensure that diagnostic or patient management software can be tested rigorously without connecting to real hospital networks. Telecommunications providers often maintain segmented staging areas with identical configurations to production, allowing upgrades to be tested under realistic conditions without risk. Across all industries, disciplined separation minimizes surprise, ensuring that every change seen by a customer has already been proven safe. The business impact of proper environment separation extends beyond security. Isolated testing reduces the number of production incidents caused by software bugs or configuration errors, saving both downtime and reputation. Quality assurance improves because dedicated test environments can simulate user scenarios and stress conditions without fear of damaging live data. Regulatory audits become smoother when organizations can demonstrate that non-production systems never store unmasked personal information. Moreover, operational teams gain confidence that every release is predictable, every rollback is possible, and every environment serves its distinct purpose. Separation, when enforced consistently, becomes a hallmark of professionalism and precision. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Annex A.8.32 continues the theme of control by governing how all changes to systems, configurations, and applications are proposed, evaluated, approved, and implemented. Where A.8.31 protects production by separating environments, A.8.32 ensures that any modification within those environments happens under formal authority. Change management provides the procedural backbone of operational stability, ensuring that even beneficial updates, patches, or enhancements do not introduce new vulnerabilities or unplanned disruptions. ISO/IEC 27000 emphasizes that unverified change is one of the greatest threats to reliability. A single untested configuration adjustment or rushed software patch can undo years of security discipline overnight. This control transforms change from a chaotic reaction into a predictable, traceable, and reversible process that aligns with business and security objectives alike. At the heart of effective change management lies a clear, auditable workflow. Every modification must begin with a formal request that outlines the reason for the change, its intended benefits, potential risks, and anticipated impact on users or services. This request should feed into a structured approval process, typically overseen by a Change Advisory Board, CAB, or an equivalent authority responsible for balancing operational urgency with risk tolerance. Each proposed change requires documented testing plans and a rollback procedure, a contingency plan to restore the previous state if the new configuration fails or introduces instability. The process doesn't end with deployment. Post-change reviews verify whether objectives were met, assess residual risk, and capture lessons learned for continuous improvement. The absence of change discipline can expose organizations to severe and often public failures. In countless breaches and outages, the root cause has been traced not to external hackers, but to unmanaged internal changes. An untested patch disabling encryption, a firewall rule accidentally exposing critical systems, or a last-minute configuration applied under time pressure without validation. When documentation is missing or incomplete, it becomes impossible to trace what changed, who approved it, or when it happened. This erodes confidence during audits and investigations and can even result in regulatory penalties for lack of accountability. ISO includes A.8.32 to ensure that such chaos is replaced by transparency, a record of intention, decision, execution, and validation for every modification made to an information system. Auditors reviewing change management expect evidence of both governance and execution. A documented change policy defines scope, roles, and required approvals for normal, emergency, and standard changes. Workflow records demonstrate that requests are properly logged, categorized, and tracked through each stage: submission, review, approval, implementation, and closure. Logs must show who authorized or rejected each change and what testing was performed before deployment. Attachments such as test reports or screenshots verify successful execution, while post-change reviews confirm that outcomes matched expectations. For high-risk or emergency changes, auditors look for follow-up reviews, ensuring that deviations from standard processes were justified, temporary, and documented. These artifacts form the evidence chain, proving that change control isn't symbolic, it's operational. Examples of disciplined change management abound across critical sectors. A financial exchange, where milliseconds of downtime can equate to millions in losses, subjects every firewall or routing change to peer review and CAB approval. Cloud service providers enforce 4 eyes principles, requiring at least 2 independent authorizations before any modification is pushed to production systems. Government agencies, particularly those handling classified or citizen data, operate emergency change paths with post-implementation audits, ensuring rapid response does not bypass accountability. In manufacturing, rollout of industrial control patches must include rollback testing to guarantee that production lines can continue even if updates fail. These practices demonstrate that proper change management is not bureaucracy. It is risk control in its purest form. Different industries adopt the principles of A832 to their unique operating environments. Healthcare organizations must validate and document every change that touches life-critical systems, such as patient monitors or diagnostic equipment. Even minor updates undergo regulatory review to ensure patient safety. Telecommunications providers manage 24/7 network uptime and thus rely on maintenance windows, redundancy, and automated rollback to prevent customer disruption. Defense and intelligence agencies implement strict segregation of duties, ensuring only cleared personnel can approve or deploy changes within secure zones. Educational institutions balance flexibility for innovation with compliance by applying lighter controls for research networks but maintaining strict oversight on administrative and financial systems. Each adaptation reflects the same core truth: security and stability thrive only when change is deliberate and visible. When A.8.31 and A.8.32 operate together, they create a strong operational fabric that holds the entire ISMS together. Environmental separation shields production from direct interference, while change management ensures that when modifications do occur, they happen under controlled, reversible conditions. Together, they protect live systems from instability, unauthorized access, and data corruption, while also providing an audit trail that demonstrates due diligence to regulators and clients. Transparency replaces guesswork. Accountability replaces assumption. These controls ensure that development, testing, and deployment form a coherent, traceable flow rather than a collection of isolated activities. In a broader sense, the alignment of separation and change management is what enables large-scale digital transformation without chaos. It allows organizations to innovate confidently, knowing that every new feature, patch, or configuration has been validated and approved before it touches production. Business units gain the agility to evolve, while security teams maintain assurance that safeguards remain intact. For auditors and stakeholders, this translates to measurable governance and visible control. In practice, Annexes A.8.31 and A.8.32 reinforce a simple philosophy: no change should ever surprise the system. By enforcing discipline across both environments and processes, they ensure that the organization's most critical assets remain stable, secure, and ready for the demands of tomorrow.